finally, I just compare this online and offline, this teaching and learning process. So you can see that the advantage of online this education is the professor can prepare very concise and satisfactory teaching materials for better learning. They just think a lot and design, has a very good design and provide these teaching materials. And it's a good way to promote the teaching and learning methodology. So the professors can just concentrate more on learning outcome, not on teaching, but on learning outcome, and know more detail about how learning is carried out. And the student can have a flexible learning process. And very interestingly, this may be we did not just recognize it earlier, because you can see that the students are more likely to participate in the online discussion, because this is maybe some Asian people, they are very shy. When face-to-face, they are very reluctantly to open their mouth and ask questions and join the discussion. But behind the computer, they just find that the students are very more easily to participate in the discussion. Many professors just reported that they found in the class, the discussion is much more rigorous than they expected. But still can see that the online education cannot replace the offline, because the offline has the advantages that the professor can timely adjust their teaching according to the feedback, according to the feedback of from the students. And in the class, face-to-face, they can have very high, much higher quality discussion, and they can form very good teamwork. And most important, I think, our education is to educate people. It's a human being education. So what we need is a warm educating, because we are human beings. And we need a learning environment. The learning environment should be formed on campus by both students and the professors. When the students are just at home looking at a computer, I don't think this is if all the courses are offered online for their classes, it's not good for the real education. And of course, this is a serious problem for like in China. Just it's offline. It's a good way to avoiding the plagiarism. So, and they're still debating on online and offline. And right now we have 1 month lasting, and the faculties and the students are still debating on. Some say that I want to keep this online style, but others say that let's go back to classroom as soon as possible. So this is, I want to share with you some of our experience, and I thank you very much for your listening. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Professor Xu. And before we start asking the audience to ask their questions, I noticed there are 7 questions lined up, so we'll see whether we have time. But before we, let me take the prerogative as the moderator and ask you a couple questions myself. The first question I have is whether you see, once you go back to the regular campus, do you see this online effort somehow can continue, or the university has any incentive plan to encourage people to go online, or what is your projection looking forward when the students are back to on campus?
Yes, I think, David, I think at least a part of the professors will continue using their online materials later on. And they will use, they know that the strong or vigorous discussion in class is more effective for the student to learn. So I think this is a good chance that they realize that they cannot just use all the time in the classroom, just talk and talk and talk. They should leave some time for the students for the discussion. And this is a good experience for, I think it's for majority of the faculties, but at least part of the faculties will still use this method. So I'm very optimistic about that.
Very good, because like you said, students, not just Asians, but students in general, are more likely to be actively participating in question and answers in an online platform than in a classroom. In a classroom, like you said, many students, particularly engineering students, are not very used to asking questions and challenging the professors. So in many ways, the online instruction and learning is really very much in sync with the concept of active learning if one finds the right way to do it. Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. Yes.
Yeah, okay.